Thanks for coming in, man.
Dude, this worked out perfect, right?
Yeah, it did. I don't think we could have actually planned it to work like this.
Because I saw you in Texas 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, man, that's so cool what you're doing with the podcast, man. Because that's how I met you, is you coming on my podcast years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think people know. Well, before we get into that, welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast with hot takes and even hotter news. I'm your host, Rashid Phillips, and joining me is the amazingly talented Meet Dave.
What's up?
How you doing, brother? No, man. But yeah, that little nugget, I don't think anyone knows you were my first media anything.
Well, that's not true, because you were doing the local stuff. You were doing like the Atlanta Eats or whatever. Like you did some news stuff, right?
Not that was barbecue focused or that.
Really?
Yeah, you were my first media thing. Period.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
I'm honored.
Yeah, so am I.
I discovered you, Rashid.
You did.
Well, because I met you through Ian Bagg.
Yeah.
So Ian, I don't know how you met Ian.
Ian was actually on a podcast that I was running years ago. I keep telling people this is my first, food podcast.
Yeah.
But Ian came through and we clicked because, Ian's pug's name was Pearl.
Yep.
And Pearl is the name of my smoker that Brian gave me. So I was like, I got to go grab Pearl. And he snapped like, what did you say?
Yeah.
I was like, Pearl, my smoker. He's like, you son of a bitch, hold on. And he rented and gave me a couple of shirts with Pearl on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's how it went down.
Ian's an old friend of mine. He was when I was a young comic, he was one of the headliners who was kind to me,
Nice.
And it's funny because Ian is a super nice guy, but Ian is very selective about who he likes, yes. He's honest, I guess is the way to put it. If he doesn't like you, he'll tell you.
Yes, I love that.
And so me and him clicked too from the get-go. And he told me at one point when I was really getting into this barbecue thing, he was like, hey man, I got to introduce you to my buddy Rashid. I think he just randomly texted us, put us on you guys both love barbecue, you should talk,
And then, yes.
That's how he talked.
It's very
hey,
much.
Rashid, Ian Bagg here, And so I was like, cool, man. I go through Atlanta every now and then. I got family there. I'd love to hook up. And then when I started the podcast, I reached out to you. We were following each other at that point. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, I would love to have you on the podcast.
Well, I'm glad we can make it, come full circle years later. But
So this is full circle because I saw you 2 weeks ago in Texas, and I was like, dude, I'm so impressed with what you're doing with the podcast. It looks awesome. You're doing great with it. And I've been slacking with mine, dude. I haven't put out a new episode in I don't know how long. But I was like, I want to be on it. And you were like, anytime. And I go, all right, cool. And then literally a few days later, my wife and I decided to come visit my family in Georgia for Thanksgiving. We put this trip together last minute. So I texted you on a whim, dude, I'm here if you want to do it.
Yeah, I will absolutely make that happen. I was like, I don't care. We're going to make it happen, man. No, I appreciate it so much. And a lot's changed since the last time you and I were on the mic together.
Yeah. No, it's lots changed with the world. A lot's changed with our careers, personal lives, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think first off for me is I love the new health route for you, bro. I love it. I absolutely do. I commented on that when I saw you a couple weeks back at Hondo.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, man. Hell yeah. Because I saw everything online, when he posted and you'd mentioned it with the trainer, but I hadn't seen anything since. And then seeing you in person, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I lost a few pounds.
Yeah.
I've always been healthy my whole life. I've always been an athlete. I've always eaten pretty well. People always are like, oh, you eat too much meat, you're going to have a heart attack. And I'm like, no, that's why I got into this because I don't like fast food. I don't drink soda. I drink beer, and I do love French fries. I'll admit that.
Yeah,
but, I just like good food, and barbecue is a way of eating real. I'm like, dude, I eat really good steaks. I know where the food I get comes from. I'm not eating processed crap.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm as unhealthy as people. But I do think being a little older now, in touring the way I was touring, and drinking beers and eating on the road, grabbing a quick fast food, and eating that bread, it caught up to me, and I was starting to get. I never even felt fat during that time. I just was like, oh, I can stand up straight in a photo and look good. And that was stopping. I would look, even when I was trying to stand up straight and suck it in, I still looked fat in the photo.
Yeah.
And I go, I think I'm fat. When did this happen, So I started with an online trainer. Shout out to Dermot. And it made it so easy. All I needed was just a little coaching, you know, because I like exercising. I like, being in shape. I don't mind eating healthy. I didn't realize how far off track I'd gotten,
Yeah.
So just having him make it apparent to me made it easier. And yeah, I dropped like 50 pounds, dude.
No.
And it happened pretty fast.
You're crushing it, and I love seeing that and how you shared it with your audience, right? Because I think in our line of work, people will look at us for our culinary prowess, right? Hey, man, this person did this and that, and they emulate the lifestyle that they see to an extent. I was like, man, if I'm gonna have you emulate something, let me sprinkle a little health in there too, right?
Yeah, and like I was very honest that I wanted to still have quality of life, and two, want to make it sustainable. So I told this trainer guy, I go, look, I'm gonna keep eating meat. I eat a ton of meat. I go, and I'm gonna keep drinking beers. I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, I'm not drinking anything for 3 months, because then when I start drinking again, I'm just gonna put the weight back on. You know, I'm a comedian. I do shows at night. I'm going to drink beers after the show. It's just going to happen. I'm not going to kid myself.
Exactly.
And the guy's like, fine. He goes, dude, beers are fine. He goes, that's water weight. Like, that comes off when you work the next day. He's like, you just can't drink the beers, and then the beers make you make the decision to eat 2 pizzas at 1 a.m. And I go, okay, fair. And he goes, and you can eat all the barbecue you want too. He's like, barbecue's fine. Barbecue's healthy. He's like, just don't cover it in sugary sauce and eat a second helping of mac and cheese with it, and and put it on bread. And he's like, just eat the meat. And I'm like, I can live with these rules.
Exactly. That's what I tell people. I said, barbecue is better for you than that salad or that bowl you're getting at Chipotle, because we render our fat out. That's literally the name of the game. So by the time it gets to you, it's hit with so much amazing flavor. Like, you take a bird, hit it with a little bit of salt, some fresh garlic, some fresh herbs around the interior and exterior, and just put it on the smoker. That's better than any chicken salad you're getting anywhere. So that was that simple.
And I think the thing I was doing most wrong was calories in, calories out. Because, I was blessed with metabolism most of my life. And as we get older, you don't have that as much. So, like, I coach, I'm assistant coach at the high school by my house for water polo, right? Mm-hmm. So, I love coaching. It's a passion of mine. It's something I always try to stay involved in. And I'll get in every now and then and scrimmage and play with the kids, right? So, you're playing 2 hours of water polo, a very strenuous sport with high school kids. Like, you think you burn a shit ton of calories. And so I was like, I'll swing through In-N-Out on the way home and get a burger and fries because I earned it, because I just burned all those calories. And I thought I was still in the positive. Well, when you're actually typing in the amount of calories in a fast food meal and the amount of calories you burned working your ass off for 2 hours, the burger wins on that
every time. Every time.
So that just made me realize, like, I have to burn those calories and then not go eat that burger. Like let the calories actually, or let that exercise actually do something for me. And so he told me, he's like, yeah, so we have to figure out the best way to manage hunger for you. So get some protein shakes and whatever. And I'm like, can I just eat protein? He's like, yeah. He's like, just not everyone is like good at doing that. I go, I got this. So I just went to the store and I bought a ton of chicken breasts and a ton of steaks and grilled them up and then chopped them up. And whenever I needed a little snack or a nosh, I just go grab a cold steak and chew on it. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'm good,
Nice meat salad.
Yep.
It works. That's where people trip up, make the barbecue without the sauce, put the sauce on the side or in the back somewhere. And it's easy to maintain, but that calories in, calories out, it'll hurt your feelings. If people started punching in their favorite go-to order, it's crazy. Like, I love Thomas and Bagels. Love Thomas Bagels. Haven't had it in 8 months because it's damn near 400 calories just the bagels, and I ain't put nothing on it. Yeah. And I know how hard I have to run to burn 400 calories. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Not right now. That's just going to cancel it out, man.
Even today, Texas wiped me out. I've been kind of fighting off sickness and whatever for 2 weeks, And so I've been slipping. Plus, we ate a ton of barbecue while we were there. We went to, burnt, what's it called?
Oh, we went to Burnt Bean?
Yeah, Burnt Bean.
See Ernie? Yeah.
And then we went down to, I went to Austin and I ate all day Monday at my buddy's restaurant and at where did I go? Oh, Terry Black's. They always hook me up when I'm there. And anyways, I've been backsliding. So now being in town with my family, we're eating big meals again, you know? So this morning, you know, I apologize for being late, but this morning I was like, dude, I need to do a quick 30-minute workout because if I don't do it now, it's not going to happen later today.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Rashid will understand. I'm going to be 30 minutes late. I got to do this workout real quick.
Yeah, I'm all for it. All for putting fitness first, man, and just putting health and wealth. Like, you know, and we talked about it during when we did the pod with you years ago. Like, my old man died because he had, you know, 3 heart attacks in 2 days. And one day I just woke up and said, I'm going to go run. Hadn't ran in years. Had running shoes I hadn't touched. Sucked wind. I think I did like a 21-minute mile. I could walk it backwards faster than that now. Yeah. Sucked wind in the driveway. Like, I'll never do this again. And I got up and I did it every single day for 365 days straight. And I was documenting it. And before I knew it, like, all the weight had gone off. Like, it had gotten to the point where, like Rutledge was giving me shit. Rodney would FaceTime me just to give me shit. Like, you out there running again, ain't you? But I was like, oh, I'm running, lost all that weight. And I've put some back on intentionally from there because it's like, I look like for 25 cents a day, you can sponsor a Pitmaster. Lost too much weight. But it's just that drive and make that change. You know, like you said, when you're on the road, it is hard.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the most important thing. I mean, obviously, like, now when I get photos or video of me on stage, like, I feel better about it, you know, and I'm not vain by it, but you want to be proud of what you look, you know, like, if you're posting, even if it's subconscious. But also, I just feel better, dude. It's like I had sleep apnea for sure. And I got the CPAP machine and I hated it.
Holy crap.
And I was just, you know, I was not sleeping. And like shedding, when I shed like 30 pounds, I was sleeping. And I go, I feel good. And I'm like, I can think. Like, I just thought I was getting older and just like busy and just being a dad and just like everything was just bogging me down and you just don't have time for stuff. I go, oh no, I haven't been sleeping in years, you know? So it just made me be more focused and more motivated and you know, other aspects of my life by just being a little bit fitter.
I love it, man. I'm seeing this wave take over. Like, you know, Chuck Flavor Train, he's down 40 pounds. And he blames me. He's like, man, you was really encouraging. I was like, hell yeah. Like, Nick, heat stroke, he's working out. Like, that's my whole thing. Like,
James Cruz.
Cruz came up to me. He's like, this is your fault. I was like, I'll take it, man. It was solid. I was like, you're looking solid and stout, man. So I love seeing that aspect because there's not a lot of old heads left, right? They go out because of some congestive heart failure, some sort of whatever. I'm like, man, if we keep moving around a little bit right now, we can bullshit and talk trash well into our 80s and 90s, you know? Yeah. So I'm just setting it up for future trash talk. That's what I tell people. I'm just working out for future trash talk.
Let's go.
But this isn't a fitness podcast. This is a barbecue podcast.
Yeah, we really went on that tangent.
It did. Hey, health is wealth, man. You've got a lot of stuff cooking up. Literally, you're doing a tour, right? You've got the restaurant, you got the festival. Yeah, you just got bored. You're like, nah, I need to put. You weren't busy enough. Like, let me do some more stuff.
I know. My wife at one point a couple months ago was like, "Do you do comedy anymore?" Like, I go, I do. I promise comedy is still the first. It's the pillar.
It's building up to like the world's best punchline. I promise you.
Yeah, this is the setup. You know. Yeah, it's been awesome, man. This has been a big year. It's been a hard year. It's been a really hard 2 years, and I feel like a lot of things have been building towards this 2026 coming up. I'm really excited about this upcoming year.
Tell me about it.
Well, so the first thing is, for people that don't know, I'm a stand-up comedian who's obsessed with barbecue, and I started a podcast, Meet Dave, and the whole reason I called it that is just the play on words of meeting people and me interviewing them, right? That's it. It wasn't supposed to be a nickname, but it became a nickname. And so really I could never do my podcast again. The Meet Dave branding is there. I am Meet Dave. You know, everyone calls me that. Even the kids I coach, man. The kids coach are like, Coach Meat. And I'm like, you might want to give people context before you say that too loud around here. Right?
Hey, you could be called a lot of worse things as a coach. I'll take it. I'll take it.
So, you know, the Meet Dave, brand has given me some really cool opportunities. And just that people have recognized me as someone who is passionate about barbecue. I was very honest with that out the gate. When I first started my podcast, I was like, I am not an expert. I go, I am not someone who is claiming to be amazing or have won competitions or whatever, but I will tell you, you will have a hard time finding someone more passionate about becoming that than me.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to meet guys like you and meet guys like Malcolm and all the people I reached out to and got onto my podcast. Because I was like, I meet some of the coolest, most famous comedians in the world on a daily basis because of that part of my life. But I've been doing that so long, like even if they're really famous and successful, I still just kind of look at them as peers, you know?
Yeah.
But the barbecue people I was looking at with like such disbelief and admiration for what they do. It was fun to like find this new set of heroes, you know? Yeah. So the podcast led me down that path, and I started a comedy festival in my neighborhood, 2015. And I love my neighborhood, and I love producing. It's not what I want to do, but I know I'm good at it. And I'm just like, man, this would be such a cool place to have a comedy festival. So I ran this comedy festival for 5 years. Pandemic put it on hold. And then everyone started being like, are you going to bring it back? Are you going to bring it back? And I'm like, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. I got all this other stuff going on. And I just don't know. There's so many comedy festivals in the country now. And there's even a huge one in LA that Netflix puts on. And I'm like, just don't know if I have the time to do it right and if it's worth it. I'm like, I'd really like to do a barbecue festival. I've been going to all these cool barbecue festivals, and I just think it would be something that people in my where I live don't see things like that. And it would be really awesome for them to experience it. And I'm like, but I don't know if I don't want to compete with all these big, like, how do I get people to come here and give up a weekend? And I'm like, what would make a comedy, or what would make a barbecue festival really unique? And what can I bring to the table? I go, oh yeah, comedy. So I just added barbecue to the branding. I made it the Gundo Comedy and Barbecue Festival. And so we did it last year just to prove the concept, and everyone loved it. And then we brought it back this second year and widened the scope a bit. And dude, I wish it had worked out for you to come and see it. Yeah, I hope you can be there this year.
Oh, I told you, I'm there. Yeah. If I got to walk, fly, or swim, I'm there.
It was so fun, selfishly, to introduce all my barbecue friends, to my comedy friends, and my friends from my community. It's like 3 different subsets of people who I love and are important in my life, and I get to bring them all. It's like I'm throwing my own surprise birthday party, you know? Like, it's just getting everyone together, and then the pit masters get to cook for the shows, and everyone gets to see what they do, and my comedian friends come and eat the barbecue, and like, this is amazing. You guys made this like what, overnight or whatever, and ask questions. And then the pit masters get to sit down and watch the comedy show and see my comedian friends do their thing, you know? Yeah. So it's just cool getting to showcase all of my friends' talents in one place over and over again for 4 or 5 days.
No, I love it. It's craftsmen respecting craftsmen. Right? Mm-hmm. You know, a blacksmith is going to respect a carpenter just because, like, I may not fully understand, but I get that there's a lot of labor and effort that goes into this. And I wonder, someone in your position, the dichotomy of comedy and barbecue, you know, that overlapping, because barbecue, when you start out, you're horrible. Comedians, when you start out, you're horrible. Yeah. But at some point, if you keep at it, right?
There is an overlap in people who choose to go into the food industry and specifically choose barbecue, and people who decide to go into the entertainment industry and specifically choose stand-up comedy, because neither of those are the easiest paths within those genres, you know? No disrespect to anyone who makes burgers or cooks pizza or whatever. Yeah. But when you go, I want to pick the thing that I got to never sleep again, you know, that I'm choosing to cook overnight and to feed a smoker and to, put up all this money for product that might not get sold. You can't just cook it to order, and you don't want to freeze it. You know, it's like someone who chooses that route, and also someone who chooses the route where, I'm going to go on stage and be vulnerable and bomb more than I'm going to kill, but I still keep showing up so I can get better, because you can't just go shoot free throws in your driveway like you can with basketball. The only way that you can practice is in front of people, you know, and no one's going to give you opportunity, and you have to set up your own pop-up, you know, and run a bar show so that you can get stage time. And you know, I mean, I've never thought of it that way, but that might be one of the most specific crossovers is that both pitmasters and also comedians set up pop-ups in breweries and bars, so they can do their craft.
I told you we get introspective on this podcast these days, man. And it's but it's also the other craft where it's a delayed, not gratification, but it's a delayed win, and it's a delayed lesson. I don't know if that brisket is going to turn out until it's done. You don't know if that's going to be a killer set until you walk off the stage. Like, you go up there, I load it with the best of expectations, but I have no clue until 16 hours, and you've got no clue until that timer ticks down to zero. Like, oh crap, that's not right.
And both situations, you gotta adjust and pivot to make it happen. You know, you're cooking some barbecue at a brewery and it starts pouring rain, or the fire goes out and you didn't realize it for whatever. You know, there's 1,000 things that could go wrong, and you got to figure it out. You know, a group of 50 comes in and you're like, oh, I got to throw some chicken on. I get chicken done in an hour or whatever. Just boom, boom. Comedy, you show up, you think you have your set list figured out. Oh, there's a drunk guy yelling in the back. Or only 8 people showed up. Or you show up and the booker says, I forgot to tell you, you have to be clean. You know, it's like there's so many things that can be thrown at you in both of those.
Yeah.
And you can't just go, well, I quit. You go, all right, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to make this work. And you plow through it, you know?
Exactly. I love that. And that's the thing, I think, in your role specifically, just those random, like, I won't have hecklers until anything's done, you know? But I can imagine just how quick you have to be on stage in the moment. Like, because the train just can't keep moving forward sometimes, right? It's going to get those little, like, all right, well, this guy, there's always a guy in the crowd that thinks he's funnier than the guy on the stage. I'm like, remember, the difference is you paid to see me.
Yeah. Oh, and it keeps, the goalpost keeps moving, because, like, there was a way when I was coming up that, like, I had a formula with how to deal with a heckler, right? Well, now the heckler has evolved, because so much stand-up comedy is on TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that stuff. And so people's attention spans, one, have gotten shorter. Yelling things out have become more commonplace in society. People are more triggered if they think you're going down a path of something they don't believe in, instead of just waiting to see if there's some misdirection and you actually do believe in what they believe, you know? And back in the day too, if you didn't share the same belief that person had, you would just keep it to yourself, wait for the next joke. Now people want to outwardly be disgusted. And also now there's a lot of crowd work on those platforms.
Yep.
And so the audience members who aren't seasoned comedy consumers think that that's what comedy is supposed to be. So they're waiting for the crowd work, you know? So it's just, you think you have it figured out, and then the whole world shifts and changes. And, you know, I'm sure there's an analogy there for barbecue as well, with people's tastes and expectations and whatnot.
Trying to get me in trouble after the Stenderism video I see.
You just mentioned that to me, man. That's interesting. Because that's going on out by, I live in California.
Yeah, that's on your side of the country, not mine.
I haven't been there, but maybe I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, swing by. But I think you mentioned something like the evolution of the craft, and not only the evolution of the craft and the conductor, but the audience, right?
Yeah.
So with cats like Nate Jackson and your Matt Rives, the comedians that are, you know, now predominantly known for their crowd work, what is your thought of that intersection? Because for me, growing up, I hadn't seen crowd work since the old school Def Comedy Jam, Apollo Theater days, where Apollo, it was almost expected at those two venues and those shows, because that's how you really cut your teeth. Like, could you handle them going after you? And my absolute favorite set in history is Bernie Mac. I'm not scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, that is my favorite, because God rest his soul, Bernie was someone I always wanted to meet.
Yeah.
And he knew what was coming. He heard it, because I forgot who they just destroyed before him. And he went out and he hit it head on, and he did what at that time was a slight glimpse of crowd work. But now you see guys, like I said, Nate Jackson and Marif, where it's almost a set, it's almost expected. Like, how does that evolution to you seem, or should it just be, not should, but I think there's crowd work. I think there's storytellers like your Chappelles and such, like Bert, great storytellers. I think then you've got your more quote unquote traditionalists, like Tom, Kevin, those guys, where it's like, okay, we're getting around there. It's a pattern, but you can't always do that. I feel like you might have to be quick draw McGraw and be able to move in and out of all of those factions.
Well, I think it's like, so we were talking about Ian Bagg. Ian is a crowd work comedian, always has been since day one, and he is masterful at it.
Yes.
He is hands down the best, and it's amazing to see Ian killing it right now and doing great, because I think Ian was underappreciated, even though he was successful for most of his career, because it was hard to get his skill to translate to a special.
Yeah.
So if they put Ian on a 30-minute Comedy Central special, it was funny, but you weren't getting the experience of what Ian was about unless you were there in person and realized he's making half of this up as he goes.
Yeah.
And by the way, still doing bits and great jokes, but weaving it into the crowd work as if it was the first time he was doing these bits and jokes. He was really good at it. Now that there's a difference between him, who's good at that, and like, I'll just use me as an example as a young comedian coming up for my whole career. Yes, I could be quick-witted. Yes, I could put a heckler in their place or use a topical joke with something with the room to control the audience, to get them where I wanted them, so then I could do what I'm good at, which is stories and longer form and the kind of jokes I wrote, So, Ian, whether the crowd want it or not, will do the crowd work his whole set because he's awesome at it and that's his style, right? So I think most comedians who have been doing this long, could do it how I would do it if I had to, right?
Yeah.
Which then, like someone, you brought up Matt Rife. Matt was, a young comic who was doing awesome and hustling and producing shows, like, at the beginning of the pandemic to stay busy. And he got really good at filming and putting those moments up on social media.
Yes.
So I don't know if like, and maybe it's unfair for me to say because I haven't sat down and consumed Matt Rife's content like I've consumed Ian's over the years. And it's not a competition, by the way. It's like whatever works. But like a lot of times when I'd see some of the clips of Matt and people are like, he's a master. And I'm like, I think a lot of comics have that skill set. Mm-hmm. It's just that Matt's masterfully marketed it. Like he's really good at it, but he's just got it out to the masses better than anyone else has ever done before, And he paved the way. He paved the way for a guy like Ian to then be like, oh, finally, crowd clips are a popular thing to consume. So then Ian's like, I got 20 years of them. And Ian was able to start uploading them, right? And people are like, oh my God, this guy's awesome too. And then other people started being like, oh, I could put crowd work clips up and then not burn my material on social media. And so I think Matt was a real pioneer on figuring out, not necessarily how to do crowd work, but how to use it to your advantage. And, and since he's built an audience and done it now for a few years, like at a very, very high level in arenas and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's entered that stratosphere now of being, one of the greats at it. I could say that without even watching him do a set. Like, he's got a reputation for being a hard worker, and I'm sure he's gotten there. But I think those two guys come from different places,
Agreed. I could see that. It's I've always loved the world of comedy, right? And you've been around us at late nights when the crowds are gone or before they show up. We're no comedians, but you've got to be quick in barbecue.
Yeah.
You've got to be quick, or you're getting roasted alive if you can't keep up.
One of the things I love about barbecue, and where I really got some confidence of being like, oh, I can belong here, is that a lot of barbecue is presentation. It's experience. It's ambiance. It's how you feel. Like, same with comedy. Like, you might not remember a single joke you heard at the comedy club that night, but you remember how those jokes made you feel. Yeah. So barbecue is a lot of that in the competition world and just in the pop-up or brick and mortar or all the worlds. Like, you go in, they can have amazing meat, but, was the sweet tea there freshly brewed? Did they have cool things on the wall? Did they have a bunch of beer in an ice bucket? That like it's the whole experience of being like, oh man, we got a slice of white bread on the side. The pit master came out and told us about it. We saw the smoker. We smelled the smoke in the air. It's a whole, you're using all your senses for that experience, you know? That's different than if someone came in here with some takeout barbecue and slapped it down on the table and we don't know where it came from or who cooked it. And, it's going to be good, but it's not the full experience.
Exactly. You're robbing yourself
of
that.
And so like now going to these competitions, like if I'm on a team with, 5 or 10 guys, and there's a lot of hands in there doing stuff, like I don't feel like I have to like be the guy like doing all of that. I could be like, hey man, I'm gonna go talk to the crowd because I know I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And comedy has prepared me for this, and I'm up there selling the barbecue. Hey guys, how's it going? What we cooked for you today is blah blah blah, and hey, try this. Here's a little sample. This isn't what we turned into the judge, but just making them feel welcome and telling our story.
Yeah, years ago I was cooling with Robert Irvine, and we were kicking back. First off, I've never had anyone lift me off the ground before, so I was like, "Oh, this is what that's dude, like." Bro. Exactly. He gave me a giant bear hug. I was like, "Shit, it's so great to finally meet you." I was like, "How do you know who I am?" But we were talking. He gave me an amazing piece of advice. He said, "You're a good cook. Everyone's a good cook, but be an entertainer. Yeah. Entertain people first. The food and all that stuff will come, but if you can land them and get them with the entertainment, you've got them." And he told me this like 4 or 5 years back, and I've even shifted my stage presence, if you would, for when we have to do these demos and whatnot, into where you forget that there's food coming. I either get that out the way first or whatever. Like, I took that to heart. Like the very next day when we went up on stage, I find somebody in the crowd. I'm like, "You're my entertainment for this whole thing," right? And you go back and forth. I think I had this older lady, she must have been like 60, 70 there. I was like, "You got to stop looking at me with those flirtatious eyes. I'm trying to work." And like you engage and you get them going. And it made me like having that whole experience and working through that demo. I was like, man, comedians are cool. Comedians are real cool. This is what they get to do. This is their life. And you build and you get better every time now to where you can you just sort of flow into whether it's a stage demo or presentation or walk around with everyone. But I love seeing people who are masterful at that, navigate the crowds. And like you said, you can bend them to do what you want and get them into a nice reactive place. So like you might bring them up here, then you bring them really low.
Yep.
Just like boom, and they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't see that coming." Right?
Yep.
It's you're conducting the orchestra, if you would.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I love bringing the energy down, almost get serious for a second, and then they don't see the big like misdirection.
Yeah, it's the best thing, man, and it's just sharing that with the audiences and sharing with the crowds. You mentioned social media a fair bit. I know how I feel about it in my craft. It's double-edged, but how do you feel about it in your craft, in your world? Do you think it's helped or hindered? Because there was that whole bit for a while, like the late 2019, 2022, where it's like no phones, no recording or anything, blah, blah. And that's a fairly new thing as far as attendees recording and broadcasting, because back in the day, that just didn't happen. You had to pay attention or you'd miss the punchline.
Well, people can record my sets and put them out there all they want because I could use all the exposure I can get. I think double-edged is the right term to use because on one hand, it's kind of cool that as a entertainer and as a comedian, you can build your own audience, and it's not just based on gatekeepers saying, this is going to be the guy. We don't like you for some reason. We can't put our finger on it why. But we're just going to assume audiences aren't going to like you either, So I do think that being able to take your life in your own hands and your marketing in your own hands and see if there's an audience out there for you is a very powerful thing that's going to create more art.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, now there's so much more competition. There's, I think, probably in both worlds, guys who are getting an audience that don't deserve it, It's a
good thing this is coffee, not bourbon.
Yeah. They they figured the marketing side out before they were forced to build the chops in comedy and or barbecue or anything else in the world, right?
Yeah.
So now they're taking spaces away from the guys who do deserve it. So now the guys who do deserve it are having to work harder at the social media side, which is taking them away from creating the best art they can create.
Yeah.
So it's a balance for sure. I think at the end, it's probably more of a net positive than negative that we have this ability to build content and whatever, but it's a slippery slope.
Very.
And I'm trying to figure it out too, by the way. I've been in entertainment. Like, I keep looking at the barbecue guys and I'm like, dude, I've been in entertainment for 20 years. I go, I know how to talk. I understand storytelling and, you know, all those things. And I look at these guys who, you know, I should have a leg up on, and this barbecue guys are blowing past me with their social media presence and what they're putting out content wise and what they're doing. And I'm just like, man, is my focus too split? Like, what is happening where like I just feel like I should be hosting a Netflix show about barbecue by now, because I started in the entertainment industry and now have built a foundation in barbecue. Yeah. And so I've really, this past year, and you know, we can get back on track to where you're asking me about what all's going on in my life. I've tried to really, I feel like, all right, I got the festival cruising now. I'm so excited about it. It's, you know, it is built, you know? And now I got involved with the Old Town Patio, which is a dive bar in my neighborhood that these dads bought. And they have a couple other bars that are popular and really cool. And they had an opportunity to buy this one. And they didn't know what to do with the food program in there. And a couple other dads were like, yo, you should bring David and let him do his meat here. So we met up, and they're such cool guys. They're like so on board with just being like, yeah, we just want to have something cool for the community. Let's figure out how to make it happen. And so we figured it out, and they made me a partner. And I got to make the whole menu myself and bring in my buddy, Uncle Chico.
Love Uncle Chico.
Yeah, man. One of the most beloved guys in barbecue.
Yes. And there's few. Yeah, there's few, but everybody loves Uncle Chico.
Uncle Chico, universally beloved in the world of barbecue and beyond.
Yeah, it's 100%. 100%. And if you're wild enough to have a negative thing to say, everyone's looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
It is the most perfect nickname for anyone, that everyone calls him Uncle Chico, because he literally is like a family member to everyone. Yeah. It's like, it makes sense. Like, it's my uncle. Like, who doesn't love their uncle, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
perfect name. And he's just like Uncle. He's got every answer to any question in life you ever need. Always got whatever you need. Yeah. Uncle Chico's got it right there for you, man. So,
so I'm blessed. I get to see Chico every day now. And we get to cook together. We get to create together. He's on board. Just been such an asset to the community and to the the Old Town Patio. And then we brought in Chef Bonotto, who's also killing it. He just won the wing battle
at Hondo,
Open Fire.
And he went down and beat Bobby Flay.
A week before that, he beat Bobby Flay.
Exactly. He's on a roll. I've been cheering him on, and and sometimes, and we talk about that, like the social media aspect, he gets hung up on the numbers. Like, bro, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Those of us who know, right? And I think that's part of it. And I think so much is put on social media, like the pressure, that people forget. I'm like, hey, this stuff's almost imaginary. I know cats with stupid numbers that can't get down when it comes time to it, right? It looks good on camera, but you're in entertainment. There's ways to make everything look good on camera. Yeah. Can you perform in real life? It's the difference, I would assume, between doing improv and theater. Like, you've got to know what you're doing versus reading a script. Yeah. Type of thing. So it's in our world, we see that too. And we hung up, but brother, I haven't focused on growing my social in years. And it's weird because LeBron mentioned it once. He's like, everyone has a switch. Like, when he wants to drain every shot, you can just go into that mode. Jordan talked about it. Kobe talked about it. All the great Shaq, Doc, they all mentioned, like, there's a mode you can go into where you're you can't be touched. And it's a focus. Like, if you want to grow, do all the things that check the boxes to make it happen. I got this from someone, and I told him I'm going to steal it. I call it stunt cooking. It's stunt social media. That's how you get and do the thing, and you're spiked, and back into, you get on Oprah, and now you can be viral. It's stunt cooking. It's performative, but it's not really good. Yeah. You know, so that's that whole trick to it all. But I think more so, like, perfect example, how many cats could get all the people he got to come to Hondo?
Oh, Al?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
the talent pool and power that he has just off of respect.
Respect is the word.
It's not
Respect because of his abilities,
Yep.
and respect because of the person he is. Everyone
Exactly.
loves him. Dude, Al flew into my festival. He's like, brother, I'm so sorry. I can't be there. We already committed to this other thing. And I go, I get it. I only had the dates like approved by the city a few months out because we actually took over the park this past year and did a whole park day on Sunday, like a traditional barbecue
Heck
like
yeah.
a festival day. And it's the first time my community's ever seen something like that. And they were like, dude, we thought the people cooking at the shows was cool. They're like, this is like blowing our minds, you know? So Al couldn't come, and I was like so sad. But I was like, I get it, man. I didn't give you enough heads up, and you already have this thing committed. Al, last minute, changed his flight, flew from wherever he was up in like Montana somewhere into LAX airport at like 10 a.m. in the morning, which means he had to leave at like 5 a.m. or something, wherever he was at. Came in like a superhero with a cape, took a taxi from LAX straight to the park. 5 minutes later, was on a grill cooking and entertaining people and feeding people. And I was like, dude, Al, I don't care what I have on my calendar next year. That's not me getting choked up. I was just, but that was pretty good timing of it.
That was.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it as it was.
Yeah. I was like, Al, I don't care what I have on my calendar next year. I'm going to be at the open fire. And I will cook on a team if you need me to. I will do a comedy set next to the campfire, as he asked me to do.
Yeah.
I will pitch in and I will pick up garbage. Whatever Al needs me to do, I will be there and do it.
Exactly.
Because of the things you're saying.
Yeah, it's respect over followers. There's people there who trounce him in numbers of followers, but they showed up for Al. I try to tell people, like, that's what respect will get you. That it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is all I can offer, whatever. And everyone still comes in droves, and it's not give me what you have. It's what can I do to help? What do you need? Right. So when they get hung up on that, it's like, whatever. But there's certain things and just certain guys that are just like, no, man, I'm there. Like, you pick up the phone, I'm shooting over. Let's make it happen. We're going.
Well, I had an epiphany recently, Rashid.
All right.
I think you'll appreciate this. So I have the festival figured out, right? I now have the restaurant, the foundation built, and that's rolling, and I have a vision for how we're gonna evolve it, and then also use it to. We're doing comedy nights there every other Tuesday. Nice. I'm gonna start a podcast out of there. We're gonna do more pop-ups and bring in our friends to do classes and guest pitmaster day. We got all kinds of fun stuff that we can use that platform to do, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a community builder to have a cool place to hang. It really is the closest thing I've ever been a part of that to Cheers. We have our regulars. We have
dancing.
Yeah, we have our regulars up front. We have our new families that are just discovering us and want to come listen to live music on the back patio and eat good food. Like, it's really a vibe. I'm really proud of it. So I have those two things built. I'm building up now my tour dates starting in January to go just perform as much as I can around the country. And I'm trying to line up as many as I can around barbecue festivals so that I can knock both out on one trip and kind of be a part of as many things as I can with both worlds. But the epiphany I had with all this now in place, and as I figure out how I'm going to support and market all that with whether it's the podcast or social media content or whatever, the epiphany I had is that what makes me happy in all of those things is community. And I think the one thing I've been missing from my comedy career is that as I was building and building and building and building for years, stand-up comedy is a very lonely thing.
Yeah.
You're in a hotel room by yourself most of the day. You don't really get to the point where you can bring your own openers with you until much later in your career, maybe never. And a lot of it, even though if you have a lot of friends in the industry, you're not traveling with them or working with them if you're working the road heavy. And when I got to spend a few years opening up for Bert Kreischer and traveling with him.
Shout out to Bert.
Yeah, man. Bert's the man. So with him, it was you were part of a team because he's at the point where he's bringing 2 or 3 openers, bus driver, camera guy. It was a team of people. And even if it was just me and Bert, it was like still I was traveling with someone and we're both common goal of giving people a great show, experience, whatever.
Yeah.
So then when I got back to mostly doing my own tour dates, it felt lonely again. So I'm like, you know what? That's why I love coaching so much. Because coaching is literally, through the good and the bad, it's a team that you're all trying to win this water polo title with, or win your league and get life lessons along the way and lift each other up and figure things out even when you're not doing well. All those things. And I go, maybe that's why I have this festival thing now. It's like more of everyone coming together and the restaurants more. So I'm going to try to bring that to my touring as much as possible. Whether it's through my new podcast, I want to do more of like building a community. It's not just me interviewing someone like I've had forever. It's like I want it to evolve more into bringing in callers and having 3 or 4 guests at a time, and just building out, like making people a part of it.
Yeah.
And I want to. Did I tell you the name for it?
No.
Oh.
I was going to sit on this and release this as one of our first ones in the top of the year, so it gives you plenty of runway to secure everything. So you don't have to worry about it dropping yet.
Okay.
But
yeah, no, I've already copyrighted it.
So then yes, please. Yeah. Then share.
I was on stage, and I was riffing, and I was talking about getting back to the crowd work thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was riffing, and I was like, I don't remember how it started, but I was talking about how I love this barbecue thing, and it's what I'm good at. And I go, maybe I was talking about my kids were giving me like some shit about like, oh, Dad, what are you good at or whatever? I don't know, whatever. But I was like, man, dude, my front yard is awesome. I go, my front yard looks like a sports bar. I got all my smokers up there. I got my TV wall built, my fire pit. All my neighbors hang out in my yard, right? And I'm not rich. I'm not sitting in a mansion with a fancy outdoor kitchen that I paid someone to build. I go, I built this little by little with me and my sons through wood I got for free from the brewery, breaking pallets apart, and things I acquired on Facebook Marketplace, companies that appreciate what I do and send me smokers and send me pizza ovens, and I've built out this really cool area where everyone literally in my community comes to hang out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, nobody goes harder in the yard than I do. I go, I yard hard. And when I said that, I go, oh, there's something there.
And so
then I went home and I repeated to the guys, the local dads who hang out in my yard, and they were like, we would buy that t-shirt right now.
Yeah. So
I want to make the Yard Hard, not just the Yard Hard podcast. I want all my branding of all the stuff I've done, I want it to be under the Yard Hard umbrella.
Hell yeah.
Where I want it to be the salt life of barbecue. If you got a Yard Hard sticker on the back of your car, people are like, dude, this guy fires up his big green egg on the weekend. That guy watches all of Rashid's YouTube videos. Like there's something to be said. And it doesn't have to be barbecue either. It could just be like, yo, we know what it's like to crack a garage beer and sit in a hammock.
Yeah.
That you don't even have a yard, or you have a little space you built in the back of your apartment on your balcony, but that's your yard. Yeah. You yard hard, bro.
I love that. Hell yeah. I'll gladly buy a shirt and a hat. That's dope.
But I just want to build that feeling, and like I want people to know that that's what I'm about. So when I go on the road and I'm doing shows, I keep trying to figure out ways to bring this to the comedy clubs. And I've done a few different things that have like emulated, but I just want it to be hey man, if you show up at my show wearing a Yard Hard shirt, I know that like, we understand each other.
It's a little like, I see you. I see you. And I love the community aspect. Like that's my big thing. I keep telling people I'm trying to shift it so that, the word that follows barbecue isn't competition, it's community, right? And with a community, you mentioned the craft you're in being lonely. And, for the most part, barbecue can be that at the start and even when you've grown, because those late night sessions, are often done solo, you're song by yourself. I'd like to know from you, in your career in comedy, who you've been able to lean on and who you can reach out to. Because I had a really close friend of mine. She told me, she's like, man, I envy what you have with Pops. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She's like, because you have a Pops. I was like, you've got, she's like, no, like,
yeah.
I don't have.
You're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't. She's like, I don't have a pops for me like that older woman figure, Bob, that can easily reach out because there is. You mentioned earlier, there's still some gatekeeping, right? And it took me a moment. Like I always tell Pops, I love him. I talk to him damn near every single day. Literally, like I don't think 48 hours goes by and we don't talk to each other. And I realized like, yeah, it's like I've got great shoulders to lean on and great shoulders to stand beside. I've got Pops, I got Rodney, I got Brian Furman, and I'm like, man, yeah, I'm truly blessed to have these guys. So do you have or have you had or are you still searching, and more so over, are you trying to be that shoulder for anyone coming up?
I mean, both in both worlds too. I mean, in comedy, probably in both, but there's no blueprint for comedy. You can't go to college and learn like, oh, you should be an intern and then this and that. You have to ask people.
Same for barbecue.
So yeah, there's been every level along the way. There's been someone who's a little further along than me to ask questions to, and I think more importantly, like even if you don't find, like you're lucky you found a guy who became like actual family to you and that you can call, and a guy who's extremely accomplished and a legend, right? Doesn't have to be that perfect of a mentor to find, right? Like you're very blessed to have that. And by the way, people don't realize like that doesn't just happen. That's because you're a person that someone would want to take under their wing. I remember having you on my podcast and how you really stressed, that you would cook for fire stations and you would cook for people who needed hospitals. And, you put that karma out in the world and became you were doing something in a way that someone would want to, support you.
I appreciate it. I've never heard it said like that. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Who wants to be the mentor to someone who's super talented, but is an asshole, like people want to support good people,
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so there's always been people who you can't be afraid to ask for it too, like someone's not going to just come to you and be like, I would like to mentor you, or here's some unsolicited advice, you have to be someone who goes up and you have to make them realize you're hungry. Hey man, sorry to ask you, but I heard you do that one joke about so like, how do you even get there? Like, what's your joke writing process like, There's very few comics that wouldn't love to have that conversation. Just be like, oh man, dude, let me tell you, that joke sucked the first time I did it. I was actually doing it backwards, blah, blah, blah. Like comics love having those conversations.
Nice.
And those early days of being in South Florida and just being an MC or an open micer that would go watch, like that's, dude, I met Bert back then. I met Ian back then. I remember seeing Sebastian Maniscalco and Bill Burr and all those guys coming through before they could even sell out a weekend. Like they were going to radio at 5 a.m. just to try to sell tickets because no one knew who they were. They were headliners working those nice clubs, but they weren't selling tickets. Now they're selling out arenas,
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid to go watch and ask questions and ask for mentorship. And of course I try to be that for people, even if it's not as an expert, if it's just like, hey man, I've made that mistake before. Let me tell you what I learned from my life experience. And I'll tell you what I've learned. And I think that the world now is less secretive than it used to be in these regards. I think comics are way more willing to take other comics under their wings these days. And I know for a fact, barbecue people are more willing to share the secrets and bring barbecue guys under their wings now than they used to be. I think there was a lot more like, I have to protect my piece of the pie. Yeah. And I'm not going to tell you my secrets. And for whatever reason, people seem to be a lot more willing to share what they've learned now than they used to be.
No, you're 100% right. I remember, starting in the teens, the 20 teens of these, and no one was answering anything. The forums might as well just been ghost towns because like whatever, just no one wanted to give direction. So I think that's why I do like my weekly Q&A. We have answered so many questions.
Yeah.
Thousands upon thousands of questions just to guide people, right? Because I can't take this information with me, and I'm not expecting any applause or credit, but if I can help you save an hour or a week or a couple of months, like a good mentor will save you a decade if you listen right.
Yeah.
And now if I'm looking, if I can hang back and watch you take it even further. Like I spoke about it last year doing the food and wine event where Pops, Rodney, being everybody, and there was this moment where Pops, Rodney, on the lot, they're sitting under this tree, B's under there, and they're just under the tree in the shade, right? And the smoker's blocking me because I'm bringing some food to put onto the smoker, but I catch a little glimpse of them on there. I was like, man, I'm gonna get there one day. Like I'm gonna get to like hang back and watch everyone, not work, but watch what you've built and where you've gotten. And I was like, I can't because I literally still have work to do. I still have to go load this smoker. I still have to go tend. There's work to still go, but I got a glimpse of what it could be if I'm working. And I think in our line for barbecue and communities, like it's very selfless what we do if you're a good guy, because you have to be willing to know that, hey, I'm gonna plant this seed for this giant oak tree, and I may not even ever get the shade from it, but damn if planting it won't be a great thing for somebody someday. Yeah.
Well, how about just like the heart of anybody who wants to go down? Like it seems to be a theme of this episode is we're really
it's deep on the pod.
Yeah, we're looking at the crossroads of my two worlds, comedy and barbecue, right? The heart of anybody who wants to get into either of those fields is literally they just want to make people happy.
Yeah.
Like comedy is telling jokes. No, you should not go into comedy if your goal is to be rich and famous or piss people off.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Don't go to barbecue either.
Yeah.
If any of those are on
your radar. Your goal should be to literally, you like how this thing makes people happy. And if that is your North Star, you are going to figure out all the other parts. How do I make money? How do I build an audience? Whatever. But you have to be doing it for the right reasons. Yeah. You know, that's why I get so mad when people, social media and the news outlets and you know, the buzzword headlines and what a clickbait, you know, when they're like, comedian, piss someone off. And I'm like, nobody went into comedy to piss people off. Like, we want to make people happy. Sorry if the words didn't relate with everyone or if it's a topic that's sensitive to 1 out of 300 people or whatever. But I promise you that comedian is probably not doing that with the intent of hurting people's feelings.
Yeah.
Comedian is doing it because they want to make more people happy and laugh than they don't. You know? Same with barbecue. Nobody's going to choose to do the thing that takes 12 hours just because, you know, they want to make money or they want to, you know, have kudos. Like, it's literally, they want to see you take a bite and watch someone's eyes close, and not just because they're doing it for an Instagram video, because it's literally the reaction that's being elicited from this thing that you just crafted. Yeah. You know? So powerful.
It is, man. And it's an amazing craft and community that we're both a part of and contribute to. And as we take down, I want to ask, you know, what's since you're in both worlds, what's a set that had an impact on you, and what's a barbecue bite, meal, or experience that had an impact on you? Like that was like, I was going this way, and it just said, yeah, now I'm way over here now.
Like one I did or one I watched?
One set that you watched, barbecue play that you enjoyed, or a barbecue moment that you experienced yourself.
Okay. The barbecue one, I mean, I can pinpoint a few important moments.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like one specific thing, but like there was this, I would say the bullet points of my experience of barbecue that led me to where I went with it as a passion was, one, my father and my uncles cooking for parties, watching the men work together and really care about, you know, what time are we putting on? What time are we pulling it off? Seasoning, you know? A lot of times it was something they caught themselves smoking an amberjack. They got on a fishing trip, or a deer my uncle shot, or a turkey, wild turkey, whatever, you know? Yeah. But anyways, just watching the men cook and being like, oh, men can cook. It's not just like, you know, my mom cooking dinner for us every night, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just kind of powerful to me, like, you know, watching them do it. And then going away to college, and there was a place called Byron's Smokehouse, And I didn't even know it existed until like my junior year. And I stumbled into it, and it was like an iconic place. And just being like, I can't believe I've not been here before. And then literally eating there every day and talking to the family that owned it and just feeling like how excited I was to go have Byron's and how delicious it was, you know? And that was really impactful for me. And then after college, trying to find places like Byron's around the world, around the country. And I was in Austin, Texas, opening for a dude named Paul Varghese. Paul's a skinny Indian guy who will drink you under the table, right? Just a fun dude, a super funny comic. And he's like, hey, do you like barbecue? And I go, yeah. And he goes, I'm going to go eat a ton of barbecue tomorrow. Do you want to go with me? I go, yeah, for sure. I go, I'm kind of a barbecue expert. I eat it all over the country. Everywhere I go somewhere, I go target good barbecue. He's like, oh, great. Well, you're going to have some of the best brisket you've ever had in your life tomorrow. And I go, what's brisket? And he goes, oh, you don't know shit. You know? So he drove me out to Salt Lick.
Oh.
And he ordered for me like I was a woman in the 50s, you know? he was, I was like, I think I'll have that. He's like, I got you. He's like, we'll have the 3-meat platter, but then we'd also like to add sausage to it. And I'm like, do you want to get sides? He's like, no sides. Like, you know, all meat.
Came for the meat.
Yeah, and then we ate it, and then he's like, all right. I'm like, man, I'm ready for a nap. He goes, we got 3 more places to hit up. I go, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we're going to eat at multiple places today. And I'm like, I was not prepared for this. Like, you know, and he did. He took me around, and I was blown away. And then I started booking as many gigs as I could in Texas. Finally, I went back to LA after one of the trips, you know, years later, and I just got mad. I just looked at my wife and I go, I'm teaching myself. You know, I can't find a place. Now there's places around Southern California you can get some great barbecue.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then, didn't exist. Yeah. And there was just starting to be like the moment where like pop-ups were popping up. So there were a couple dudes that I could go like talk to and relate with and whatever, became friends with. But those were the moments in barbecue that changed my mindset and changed my my drive to learn.
Nice.
In comedy, I mean, I think it was just, I mean, there was guys I really looked up to, like Brian Regan when I was young. Like I would see Brian Regan on TV and went and saw him live once and was just like, God, I wish I could do that. That's so funny. Like, you know, like but I think it was more watching comics, like no-name comics, like going to the club and seeing whoever was headlining and being like, oh, he's funny, but it was more that feeling of like, I could do that. I could do what that guy's doing. Yeah. And my wife took me to see a sketch comedy club in Charlotte, North Carolina. I chased her up there and then moved to Charlotte. She took me out for a date. And I watched these guys do this sketch comedy show, and it was hilarious. I loved it. I was dying laughing. I was like, this looks so fun. I go, but I think I could do it. I think I could do it better than some of these guys, you know? Yeah. So I was already a writer, so I asked them if I could write sketches for them, and they were like, no, they're like, we just kind of write our own stuff. You got to try out for the group. And I wasn't a performer, but I was like, all right, I'll try out. And I tried out, and I got in. And it was a lot like barbecue. And I tell people this all the time. I go, you got to just jump into it. So the Perch Sketch Comedy Club in Charlotte, North Carolina was my way of jumping into comedy. I just was not a comic one day, and then the next day I was part of a cast, writing sketches every single week, and just getting on stage and doing them. Yeah, and getting better with every mistake.
Honing those chops.
Yeah,
honing those chops.
And that gave me a team. It was a lot less scary than just saying I'm going to be a sketch. You know, there was guys who took me under. Sean Keenan was the head writer, and he was like, "Hey, man, this sketch is good, but it needs more jokey jokes. You need more jokes before you get to the. I see your big jokes. You need the little jokes that keep people interested till you get to it. You know, or this one's perfect. Maybe just I don't know if you cast the right guys in it. Maybe flip, Jesse and and Shannon on these two roles and have Shannon play the man and Jesse play the girl. That might be fun. Like things like that.
Good deal. Hell yeah, I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
And I'll say this too. I hope it's not cheesy. Yeah. But almost everyone has been a barbecue mentor to me because starting my podcast and getting to meet people, and when you talk to someone for an hour, even if you just met them, like you feel a little connected. I did not hesitate to call up so many of those people and be like, hey man, I'm cooking a brisket for the most people I've ever cooked brisket for. and it's stalling, and what do I do? You know, like had people on speed dial, people I didn't deserve to have on speed dial. I had on speed dial. And so I remembered that moving forward.
Yeah.
And even though I still feel uncomfortable calling myself a barbecue expert or anything, whatever, if people message, I feel like since I was a little more accessible than people who are established in the barbecue world, I would get a lot of questions, especially at the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was cooking at their house and like really trying stuff out. I would go on Instagram and have a message from someone like, here's the deal. I bought a brisket. I put it on or blah, 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 blah. I would just FaceTime them from Instagram.
Nice.
Because, you know, they don't need to have your phone number for that.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, hello? And I'd be like, show me the brisket. And they'd show, you know, and they'd be like, are you calling me right now? And I'd be like,
show me the brisket.
Yeah, I go, look, man, I got 3 minutes before I got to go pick up my kid. I go, let's talk through this, you know? And I would just try to pay it forward by helping people out that were being weekend warriors, you know?
That's all we can do, man. That's all we can do. We all started in the backyard, and our goal is to, if anything, still land back there because, gosh, those were the best of times. Yeah. You just keep going. To wrap it out, where can the people find you? What's going on? Dump all of that, the socials, dump all the info.
Yeah, you got it, man. Instagram's where I'm the most active. My main account is at Dave W Comedy. And then I started my barbecue account too. That's at Meet Dave BBQ. So follow me on both or either of those. My tour dates are up at davewilliamsoncomedy.com by the time this episode comes out. Hopefully I have a full slate of dates. I know I'm going to do Key West Comedy Club the same week that the Key West Invitational is going on.
In March, that one? Yeah.
If you want to come to a really fun week of barbecue and comedy, come down to Key West in March. Yeah. I'll be headlining the comedy club there and also competing, defending my title, by the way, from last year. My team took it.
There it is.
Shout out to my boy Jody, Barbecue Dad Jody on Instagram, and Roy Bellamy from the Levitard shows, my other teammate in that one. And then this year, we're bringing a fourth. We're bringing Uncle Chico with us.
Oh, man. Got the ringer.
Yeah, dog.
Got the ringer. Right on.
But I got lots of tour dates in quarter one, quarter two. The festival, of course, Gundo Comedy and Barbecue Festival. But please, if you fly into Los Angeles, we are 5 minutes from LAX airport. So we are easy to pop in. Come have a cold beer. Come have a brisket sandwich or a tri-tip sandwich or our smoked wings. I'm super proud of our chicken wings. Nice. Come to the Old Town patio. If I'm in town, I'll probably already be there. But feel free to message me on Instagram. And if I'm not there and I'm in town, I will meet you there for a beer. I love meeting people who go out of their way to come into the restaurant. It's a really fun hang. We have a beautiful patio. I want the patio to be a place where everyone has to hit it when they come to LA. I would love to meet you.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Brother, I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat, roll smoke, shoot the shit. It's been long overdue. And thanks for being my first media experience ever.
The thanks is all on this side of the table. That was one of my favorite episodes. And I think you were the first person I ever had on a second time.
Yeah.
Because during the pandemic, when it was like when there's a lot of unrest and Black Lives Matter movement started and all that stuff, I was like, dude, I just loved talking to you in general. And, apart from barbecue, hearing your insight on stuff. And I'm like, I want to hear Rashid's take on this.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one. I'll never forget that sit down. Much appreciated, man. And guys, if you've been listening to This Week in Barbecue, the Barbecue Focus podcast with hot news and even hotter takes. And if you can, do us a favor, give us 6 stars. You don't see the 6, we'll take 5. And most importantly, be good to one another. The world needs it right now.
Amen.
Amen.